The eunuch community has been a part of Indian society since time immemorial. To understand the different layers of the eunuch community, one needs to understand the difference between biological sex and gender. Sex is the biological anatomy of an individual, whereas gender is a social construct, an identity that exists on a spectrum. The eunuch community in India encompasses a wide range of identities, appearances, and behaviors that blur the traditionally demarcated gender lines.
Another facet to consider is how much do we truly know about the eunuch community? Are kinnars and hijras the same as eunuchs? How do we distinguish derogatory terms from the acceptable ones?
A eunuch is an individual biologically male that is emasculated or castrated. The term can also refer to an intersex person whose genitals are ambiguously male-like at birth.
Hijras, on the other hand, tend to identify as a community of individuals with female gender identity with masculine secondary sexual characteristics. They may be with or without male external genitalia and prefer a feminine gender role.
They might align with the Western idea of transgender, but the key distinction between the two is the ritual of leaving one's home and undergoing induction into a clan of hijras led by an elder known as Nayak or Guru. Kinnar and Aravani are the terms used to refer to the same community in North India and Tamil Nadu respectively.
In cultures within South Asia, they are thought to have the power to bless or curse fertility. It's an age-old custom in the country to have hijras bless auspicious occasions. Eunuchs are believed to possess occult powers, and their blessings and curses are both considered potent.
Transgender is not in our Hindu religion, so we always oppose it.
This community can be traced back thousands of years within the Indian context and have made appearances in Hindu mythology as far back as the Mahabharata and the Kama Sutra. India has been more accommodating to multiple genders and sexual expressions as compared to their Western counterparts.
For example, Muslim rulers of the Mughal Empire were generous patrons of third gender Indians. So if this community was such a pivotal part of the Indian culture, when did we start detesting them so much?
311 years. How many years? We were thrown out of the mainstream society.
With the advent of the British into the country, they accused the eunuchs of sodomy, prostitution, kidnapping, and castrating young boys. The third gender was seen as a threat to Western morality. Being hijra was criminalized and they were ripped off of their inheritance rights, and a campaign was launched to erase them from public consciousness.
They were pushed to the very bottom of the social heap, making them both a sexual and highly deprived social minority. Stricken by poverty, most communities now try earning money by asking for alms, performing at weddings and stag parties. Sex work is also common among the community members. There are many repercussions of this work, and one even has to consider the community's limited access to health and welfare services.
நான் பையன் இல்லை பொண்ணு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பொண்ணானதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாருமே என்னை பாசமாக பார்க்கல. என் ஃபேமிலி, கவர்மெண்ட் அண்ட் சொசைட்டி யாருமே எங்களை வந்து ஏற்றுக்கிறது இல்லை.
They face hostility from early childhood, due to which they find no social space to live in and eventually exclude themselves. More than 60% of eunuchs have said that their family exhibited abusive behavior when they showed feminine behavior in adolescence. Hijras are frequently victims of hate crimes, including rape and assault, that often go unreported.
Even when it comes to education, most of them fail to find a safe space in school as they are subjected to bullying and eve-teasing, and most can't continue within such a violent school environment, and so they drop out.
Hijras do not have access to advanced sex reassignment surgery. Instead, most seek out their guru's network for castration, which is performed secretly and often by faith healers who are not authorized medical practitioners. Some castrated hijras develop life-threatening post-operative complications and even die.
Hijras face discrimination even within the trans community sometimes. In 2016, the Transgender India Facebook page launched a campaign called I'm Not a Hijra. In a series of images, people hold signs displaying messages derogatory to the Hijra community.
Recently, hijras have regained some of the rights and freedoms which they have been historically denied. In 2014, India officially recognized third gender people as citizens deserving of equal rights. The Supreme Court of India stated, It is the right of every human being to choose their gender, and that recognition of the group is not a social or medical issue but a human rights one. They directed the government to open education and job opportunities to all third gender groups.
While progress has been slow, in 2015, the first Hijra mayor in India was elected in the city of Raigad, and in 2017, the city of Kochi hired 23 Hijras to work for their public transit system. In April 2014, Justice Radhakrishnan declared transgender to be the third gender in Indian law in a case brought by the National Legal Services Authority against the Union of India and others. Still, there is a long way to go, and most third gender people remain in poverty even as they continue to bless Hindu families with prosperity.
It remains unclear what the future of the community looks like in this country, but with the government formally recognizing their gender and making laws for ensuring fair treatment, one can only hope Hijras are once again restored to their rightful place in our culture.